So what's ahead for you? What do the next 5 years look like? You got some goals that you want to run down?
Yeah, I mean, I want to continue racing for the next, I don't know how many years until I no longer have fun or enjoy doing it, probably. Um, and keep on like taking on the highest and hardest endurance challenges in the world. That's a goal. There's a couple triathlons I have my eyes set on, a couple more ultra marathons, some of the big ones. So yeah, I have a lot of big race goals. And then I want to continue to build my training business and help people find their love and passion for fitness and moving.
And do you want to elaborate on your training business for the viewers? Free
Oh yeah, sure.
free
Cool.
plug opportunity here.
I should
Yeah,
promote it. So
there you
yeah,
go.
my company's called Nighttime Training, and I train athletes who want to compete in the OCR space like I do, who want to do just trail races, and then I have a lot of clients who just want to get back into the gym or start their fitness journey for the first time. So it's a wide range, and it makes it a lot of fun. So I have a couple programs you can sign up for. They're not customized, but you get access to them 6 days a week. And then I have a lot of one-on-ones as well.
Oh, nice. And is that available through an app too, or a website?
You can access it through nighttimetraining.com, and then the programs are through Wodify, and then I have my own program for one-on-ones.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
Are there any races that, like, what's the pinnacle race for you that you want to conquer and win? If you had to put
Yeah.
one on the list.
Oh, that's hard there because there's just so many of them. I mean, some of like the hardest ultra marathons out there, like UTMB, things like that. Like, I would love to podium at one of those for sure.
Are there any that you're afraid of that keep you up at night that you know you're eventually going to have to do, but you're like, damn, that's going to be brutal?
Um, I don't know if any of them keep me up at night. Some of them might make me a little bit nervous or scared, but I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of a good motivator. Those would be the big ultras out there, like the Golden Ticket Series and the UTMB and all of those. The one I have coming up is a little nerve-wracking. It's an 8-hour Tough Mudder, and it's in Saudi Arabia, and the payout's very, very big. It's one of the biggest in OCR history. And so I've been putting in a lot of training and a lot of work for that. 60 plus mile weeks, a lot of time in the gym. So we're gunning for that one pretty hard.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, what does the normal like payout look like? Let's use UTMB. That sounds like that's kind of like a tier one. What does the normal payout look like as you kind of go from a bigger one like that to then maybe a medium size to a smaller size?
It kind of just depends on the industry or the brand that's having the race. So like Spartans, and World's Toughest Mudder used to be 10K for first place, and then 5, and then 3 for second and third. But they all just kind of depend. It can be, some of the like High Rocks events. I don't know if you guys heard of that race, but those don't really pay out. And then the World Championships will, to I think 15 or 20,000. So like kind of small. And then there's tons of races that pay nothing. So, except for, some pride and some ego and some bragging rights.
What's that Saudi Arabia one that you just mentioned? How much does that pay out?
First place is 80K. So
Nice.
yeah, that would be ideal. So we're gunning for that.
Do you know Joe Desna by chance?
Yeah.
Okay, we had him on, the founder of Spartan Race. He was on the
Yeah,
podcast.
I saw you guys had him on.
Yeah, he was awesome, and just same wild stories of. I mean, I don't remember the
last
exact
one.
stats, but he did how many Ironmans in like 2 weeks or something, or
7 or
yeah,
something.
it's something crazy. And then he did. And then he ran the Iditarod,
Yeah.
like the 500-mile leg of that, and just obviously. Y'all are kind of wired similar in wanting to pursue those crazy events, but
There's a screw loose.
yes, yeah, there has to be, but
A little bit.
but in a really cool way. And I think ultimately, what it comes down to is you get addicted to that challenge, right? Because you get in that middle of that race probably, and you're going through those mental demons a little bit, probably to at least to some extent. And then when you finish, you have that triumphant feeling, and that's what gets you coming back, is you want that feeling that you get mini versions of that. I think when you leave the gym, right? But to a way bigger extreme, you experience that high on a major race because the low was a lot lower, I think, right? And that's a barrier to entry, right? Not a lot of people are willing to put themselves through that, but only a few select group of people know what it's like on the other side of it once you're done. So mad props to you for what you're doing. It's super cool to see kind of how you in a way stumbled upon it on a whim, and I think it's a testament though to your mentality because, and hopefully maybe this is a takeaway for the viewers and us as well. But like, had you not been like, yeah, that 50-mile canyon run, like that sounds cool, let's do this. Had you been someone that wasn't willing to kind of take a chance and put yourself out there, the trajectory of your life from that point probably would be totally different. Not to say it would have been bad. But I think a lot of us are afraid of failure or embarrassment or any of these other things. But you were just kind of like, screw it, let's go for it. And of course, in a way that mentality could get you into trouble, but I would say that's a fairly risk-free effort because worst case you stop and you know what I mean? It's not the end of the world. But I think a lot of people are deterred from challenge, and rather prefer the status quo. Before you know it, 20 years have gone by, and you don't have much to say for it. So I think for me, that's the coolest part of this whole episode was that little nugget you snuck in there on how it all started. And that's a testament to your mentality. And I think that's why you've been so successful. So thank you for sharing that. That fires me up.
Yeah, I think it's a testament to, go ahead.
I think a lot of people don't want to experience that like rock bottom or that struggle or that failure. And so it stops them from even wanting to try. My sister just gave me this really good quote. I don't know who it's by, but it goes, you'll learn more lessons at rock bottom or in the valley than you will at the mountaintop. So it's like that struggle and that I think people can get addicted to as well of like wanting to try and building and training. Cause that's the real struggle. And that's where we learn a lot about ourselves. And so training for these races, you might win, you might be at the mountaintop, but the lessons learned were definitely on the way up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I can tell just from a couple of things you said too, that you have an ability to recognize what actually excites you and what brings you a level of enjoyment, and then not being afraid to pursue that, even if on paper it may seem silly. And I don't know specifically about your case, but when you're a teacher and even as a CrossFit coach and stuff with Google, I'm sure there had to be some part of you that was like, wait, endurance race, like maybe you did the first one good, it kind of set your soul on fire and you're like, wait a second, I like that. So many of us, it's very easy to be like, oh, that's an endurance race. There's no payouts for most of them. Like that'd be dumb to do that, as opposed to like, no, that inspired me. I felt a weird connection with it. I'm going to keep pulling at that thread. That takes courage. And I've heard you say a couple times, well, when Bear asked, like, what are you going to be doing in 5 years? It's like, well, when I'm done enjoying it, I'll move to something else. And I think that's a huge lesson too, is to kind of recognize those pivots within your life, because I do think your internal compass gives you a sense of when you should double down on something or when it's time to, hey, move towards this that you've been thinking about for the last 3 years.
Oh yeah, for sure. Always listen to the gut. I don't think my gut's ever been wrong. And sometimes I don't listen to it and it steers me in and I go a bad direction. But, when I listen to it and I listen to what I love to do, I think things kind of just flow. And, I've been really enjoying this whole process and racing in this industry. And it's opened other doors and allowed me to do things I probably never would have otherwise. So yeah, it's been a fun journey.
Cool. Tone, anything else?
No.
Well, Katie, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing a bit of your story. We'll be rooting for you. We wish you the best of luck. I know you got a lot of challenging endeavors ahead of you. So, but you got your head screwed on right. I know you're ready for those moments and you're going to absolutely crush it. So, and when's the Saudi Arabia race?
End of February.
Okay.
My birthday week, actually.
Okay. So that's coming up. Yeah. Well, cool. We'll have to keep an eye on that. And for the listeners, make sure you check out nighttimetraining.com. That's KNIGHT, and follow Katie on Instagram. She puts out a lot of really good content. But yeah, we'll be rooting for you. Hope we come back with a W in Saudi Arabia. And thank you so much, Katie.